Thanks for staying with us. Electricity consumers in Nigeria paid a total of 509.84 billion naira in the fourth quarter of 2024, despite experiencing 5 grid collapses, including 3 total and 2 partial failures. This represents a significant amount of revenue for the electricity distribution companies during a challenging period for the national grid. In comparison to the previous quarter, the revenue generated in the fourth quarter was higher than the 466.69 billion naira collected in the third quarter, reflecting a collection efficiency of 77.44%. This efficiency marks a 2.89% improvement over the previous quarter's performance, according to the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission (NEC). Now, despite the grid collapses, which included 5 incidents in total, the electricity distribution companies were able to collect a substantial portion of their bills amounting to 509.84 billion naira. The NEC report highlights this as a positive outcome, showing an improvement in the collection process. Our guest this morning is Kingsley Jeremiah, Editor, Energy, Abuja, Deputy Bureau Chief, The Guardian. Good morning and welcome to the program, Kingsley.
Good morning and thank you for having me today.
Yeah. Efficient collection of revenue, but no efficient distribution of power. That's how I look at this. And what do you feel about it?
You're correct. So the efficiency in question is also nominal. It should not be something we should roll out drum to start celebrating. In fact, the figure that you see of 509 billion naira should also not be something to really celebrate. That's just a nominal figure. When you compare that to what was collected in the same quarter in 2023, half of that was collected, but we have seen the increase in electricity tariff, particularly for Band A customer, and that's where the bulk of that money is coming from. And most of the Band A customers are also meter. So it will help you see a level of efficiency in collection. So for me, we pay a lot for darkness, and what you currently pay as Band A customer, I'm also on Band A. What we currently pay as Band A customer is too high than what we should pay, because when you look at the calculation that goes into the eventual determination of the tariff, we're just carrying the burden of the market, including the losses you see within the market, which has to do with technical and commercial losses. So this course can do better, the power sector can do better. And for me, as a stakeholder in this industry, I don't think we have achieved something yet to allow drum to celebrate.
Yeah, but I'm concerned about the fact that even as you're saying, we could have collected more money than was collected, if I got you right. But how is that when you place them side by side with the kind of energy that is being given out? Okay, we can say Band A is enjoying, but what about the rest of Nigerians that may not have that opportunity to be in Band A? I don't even know if Band A is a good opportunity now, because people are clamoring to be returned to Band B or Band C, even because of the cost of this energy, the cost of this electricity. So how do we assess that side by side, the level of the power that we're enjoying in the country?
So when you provide electricity, it should be for economic growth and a lot of other reasons. What we're seeing currently, we still have a long way to go. A long way to go because a lot of the people who should be on the grid are not on the grid. And the bulk of the people who should be on the grid are commercial customer, manufacturing hubs and all. Businesses as small as newspaper printing cannot even put their machines on the grid. Most of them rely on off-grid solution because of the unreliability of the grid. So imagine that the Guardian needs to print its paper for tomorrow and then put the printing machine on the grid, and at some point the grid goes off, what's going to happen is it will impact the machine that you used to print, and for that singular reason, you might not be able to print the next day, because that's unreliability issue is going to most likely affect the machine. So these are very important things that we critically need to work on and get sorted before we talk about the level of electricity we enjoy as a country. We can do more by making the grid reliable. As soon as the grid is reliable, you find more commercial customers coming on the grid. Most of the commercial customers we have currently, about 80% of the electricity we generate are for household use, and then about 20% goes to the industrial use. It should be the other way around. We should generate electricity for economic activities like the manufacturing of the businesses and all. So if you limit what you currently generate to homes, then you still have a very long way to go. And this also thrives on economy of scale. So if you have more people on the grid, chances are that you will find a reduction of that energy. So where you don't have the people who should be on the grid, and then you're just relying only on residential customers, you're not going to be able to have an efficient business model. So if you find more of the commercial customers on the grid, there are chances that the level of the energy, the level of what we pay as tariff will reduce. And let me tell you that the current tariff we pay on Band A, which is not what a lot of people enjoy, there are literally two issues that NEC should have looked at before putting people on Band A. For instance, NEC will look at the feeder, the level of electricity available on the feeder over a period of time, and then decide if that particular feeder should be on Band A or not. But there are other issues within the communities. But, for instance, the wire you see, the transformer-related issue, and the time it takes the distribution companies to resolve the complaint of the end users. Most of these things are bad, and I can give you a good example of my area. Over a long period of time, the electricity we're being provided was half current, and then you still have to pay the same rate for the half current, despite the fact that the current can't even pick your AC, you can't pick the basic things that you need to use. But the fact that you're on Band A means that you're most likely going to pay the rate of Band A. That is changing the end user. And you find situations where most of the people, we still have to buy pole, buy wire, buy as little as transformer oil. For them, they're on Band A. They still have to go on to buy most of these things. So we still have a long way to go in addressing the issue. And these are some of the issues that the Nigerian Electricity Regulatory Commission should have gotten a way to address before putting people on Band A. So I will always say that what we currently pay is payment for darkness, whichever way you want to put it. We can pay something cheaper, we can have constant electricity, and most of the complaints we have, from metering-related issue down to transformer-related issue and wire-related issue, are sole responsibility of the DISCOs, but this responsibility are being borne by end user in the under the guise of them having constant electricity. These are just two different things entirely. These are totally out of the way, out of what is happening in other countries where we see utility companies providing electricity to consumers. So I think those are critical stuff that the electricity sector still need to address.
Yeah, well, I don't know about the guise of having constant electricity. There are still communities that were having this low voltage like you're talking. Some of them don't even see electricity for a very long time. But when the transformer goes bad, it's the community that will donate money, buy the transformer, invite the power holding company to come. When they fix it, they immediately begin to collect the money. And I don't know how that happens and why that happens, and nobody ever says anything about it. You buy the wires, you buy the transformer, you buy everything, and they just come and be collecting the money without even saying, okay, after 6 months, we will now begin to collect money because you have spent money on this. I thought they were supposed to be the ones to provide all this, like you've just said. But now, when a Nigerian hears that you're raking in so much money, it's happening also in the banking sector when we're finding services that we do not like. We don't like the way the banking sector is treating Nigerians, yet they're the ones that are posting the greatest returns in their companies. So it's happening in the power company. If you hear that they're making so much money, the expectation is, can't we have better services? Even for the band C or band Z, whatever band you might be, shouldn't we have better services now that they're making so much money? Is the money not good enough for them to have the infrastructure that we need to make electricity better in our country?
Yeah, so there's so much money you're talking about is actually not so much money. The bulk of what was made in the fourth quarter, when you placed it against what it was in terms of the value of the naira in the last quarter of 2023, you will discover that it is not so much money per se. So for 2024, for instance, the level of tariff shortfall in the market was as high as 1.9 trillion naira. That is the highest you have seen in history. And if you put that together, it can be combined, compared to what you get as tariff shortfall within a year can be compared to what you have gotten in the last 8 years, for instance, of privatization. So the whole thing that happened around inflation and then the devaluation of the naira also affected the market. So in essence, why the distribution companies are unable to remit for 2024, I think they are unable to remit close to about 155 billion naira. And then the market, the tariff, that's the market shortfall. Market shortfall is what the discos are unable to collect. The tariff shortfall is the differences between what the consumers are paying and what they should actually be paying.
So what really is that major factor that is making them not able to collect these monies the way they should collect? Because for the layman like us, we would think that once the revolution of the metering came, it should have been very easy for the discos and whoever is collecting the revenue to do so. But so why is it still so difficult, as if it's the time when they were paying estimated bills and all that and carrying ladders up and down to collect these things?
I think the discos have interest in not metering the consumers. And they have interest because most of their workers also benefit from that scheme. Currently, the electricity market, if you had been metered, the bulk of that money goes through an escrowed accounts, which come first to the CBN. The other money collected from from estimated customers have to go through the distribution companies before it gets into the market. The discos are just revenue collector for the market. That's their primary role. There are other people at the upstream, like the generation companies, and there is also the transmission companies within the mainstream. But the arm of the market that collects all of this revenue is the distribution company. Why they have a level of infrastructure that relates to whatever happens within the community, over the years, the discos have been the weakest link in all of the channel. So the more you have more people on estimated bills, the more discos are able to manipulate XYZ in terms of collection. And that is where the bulk of the problem is. Where you also see most of the staff of the distribution companies going around in some situations. I've seen a series of situations where most of these guys collect the money and then keep in their pocket. That is affecting the market. It is also affecting the revenue of the federation, because whatever you get as market shortfall is being paid back from the national budget. And that's where the burden is. That's why the financial crisis in the sector is still the way it is. So, and the solution to most of the discos problem has been canvassed over time. Most of the discos don't even have the financial strength to provide wire, provide something as little as transformer oil when there is a challenge within community and people still have to pay for this. So why are they there at disco? Why are they in business? So, and then because most of their areas are franchised, they appear to lord over those areas instead of the Nigerian electricity distribution companies to come up with a model where things can be much more competitive, and most of the areas they are serving as franchise area can get deregulated. I'm hoping that the Electricity Act, which has empowered the state, will be able to do one or two things in ensuring that there is competition. But the current tariff-related issue is also going to create a lot of problem for most of the regulatory arms within the state, because they will first of all face the issue of how much are they going to charge the consumers that will be competitive. And as soon as that is very high, most of the people within these communities don't have the buying power to pay for electricity.
Well, I'm glad to know that the solution is there, and I'm sure they know that they won't sabotaging it themselves because of the gains that they are finding. So it's not as if there's no solution. But as we wrap up, I'd like you to comment on the move to collaborate with Egypt for in this energy sector. You know, recently Nigeria entered into discussions with Egypt and saying that Egypt is the model of how that sector should be because they have done so well for themselves. So what do you think this collaboration will bring to us as a country in terms of power?
Well, personally, for me, I think it's a shame. It's a shame because while you're looking at Egypt as an African country who has worked on one thing or the other, it shows the level at which the Nigerian government has not been proactive over the years. You should, the data released by by ARENA, International Renewable Energy Agency, yesterday showed that Egypt has close to about, I think, 11,000 gigawatts of renewable energy, while Nigeria has about 3,000, sorry, not gigawatt, megawatts, while Nigeria has about 3,000 megawatts of renewable energy generation. So we have all of the laws, we have all of the regulations, but they have not over time been implemented as they should be implemented. In fact, Egypt should be coming to Nigeria to learn one or two things. Over the years, we have collaborated with a lot of countries. We currently have a deal with Germany that is targeting to address the issue relating to the grid. In fact, the German built the current grid that we have through Siemens, and then we're still collaborating with them with a lot. The Siemens deal is something about $2.4 billion. We've not seen tangible results from that particular deal, and then you're going back to Egypt to possibly look out for ways to sign XYZ. I mean, for me, I think it is shameful. We should actually bow our head in shame. Countries like this should be coming from us to learn, but a lot of countries like Egypt, South Africa, Zambia, and different other countries have gotten a solution around how they can diversify their energy need and help the country to get proper electricity to power industrial home, if not homes. But industrial zone, if not home. So these are critical issues that I think Nigeria should be way ahead of. But what can we really get from Egypt if we have not gotten most of the things we have signed with series of other countries from Germany to US and different other countries? We have not gotten it right. I don't see any assurance in getting anything right from Egypt. We're just fond of having a lot of partnerships, a lot of deals, looking towards different countries. We should look forward to some homegrown solution that can address our situation. And sometimes some of these things exist for the benefit of the few political leaders who man political offices. But for me, I don't see any fruitful deal that you can actually get from what is currently coming from. Looking at the history of what we've done with other countries.
Okay. Well, we would like to thank you, KINGSLEY, for coming on the show this morning and sharing your thoughts with us. It was wonderful having you on the show.
Thank you so much for having me. I'm grateful for the opportunity.
Okay, this eventually is where we wrap it up on the show this morning. We'd like to thank you for being there with us. We're hoping that you will join us tomorrow for another edition of the program, The Breakfast. Until then, on behalf of the entire team, my name is Nyamgul Agaji. Thank you for being there.